Sunday. That's a green morning, green afternoon, and green evening wherever you are world over. It's an early morning in Canada, United States, Latin America. It's a post-lunch in European Union and UK. And at the same time, people, those are joining from beautiful Bharat, it's early evening. And people, those are joining from ASEAN countries, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, Brunei. It's a little after the dinner, before you go to sleep, we all are together. People joining us from Central Asia and people joining from Middle East. Hearty welcome and a pleasure to have people. Those are joining us from Mauritius and Seychelles. It's a pleasure to have all of you and our brothers and sisters across. Those are joining us from African continent. So ladies and gentlemen, indeed, it's a great pleasure to have all our brothers and sisters across the globe coming for this wonderful program. Every Sunday is dedicated to our Indian diaspora brothers and sisters. Those are across the globe at different places. And nowadays we are with Canada. So NRIs for Indian Education and Skills. Today we have got a very distinguished guest, Madam Annu Bhaskaruni ji. She's elementary school teachers in Canada. So we extend her a very warm welcome. We all are going to have interaction, deliberation, discussions, whatever you feel like. We are going to work on a teacher's experience during and post-pandemic and how teachers should prepare themselves post-pandemic, what difficulties they might have experienced, what challenges are right before them. But let me share with all of you, like doctors, nurses, paramedical people, like a great warriors, our teachers, our educators, our counselors, our technocrats, our headmasters, our principals, and all the people those are with education system. When 1.65 billion children were away from schools, colleges, institutions, they have done remarkable job and they are also warrior in their own way for this entire globe, entire universe. Our chamber, International Chamber for Service Industry, extends a very warm welcome to all of you. Every Sunday, we meet our brothers and sisters. It depends on their local time, wherever they are. Somewhere it's morning, somewhere afternoon, somewhere evening. As far as Canada is there, ma'am is joining us. It's a morning. And Sunday morning coming to us on this chamber, we are indebted to her. During this pandemic, all the teachers and youth, we have done the hand-holding, and I'm very happy. People say that Corona was challenge. Every challenge has got some hidden opportunities as well. We all got to understand. Can you believe our chamber has made more than 11,000 friends, new friends, whom we didn't know. We all have come digitally for the common cause. And what was the topic? Making education relevant. And the people, those have joined us from world over, we also got 300,000 youth across the globe as a part of it, with 11,000 teachers, educators, trainers, motivators. I'm grateful, and we strongly believe education is incomplete without skills, and education and skills don't hold the relevance unless the children have the right outcome. Either they go for startup or they go for entrepreneurship, they go for employment, whatever it is, they should get constructive, productive engagement. We are very happy. We are very proud that way back in 1994, this chamber brought India's first finishing school. And that was basically for service industry, where we focused on personality enhancement, communication skills, critical thinking, creative thinking, logical thinking, analytical thinking, decision-making skills, and everything was done through the music, dance, happiness, games, fun, humor. And during this pandemic, we had gone global because nowadays everybody is talking about soft skill, life skills, creative skills, analytical skills, futuristic skills. So taken everything into consideration, we have gone world over during this pandemic. And with finishing school, we also launched e-Gurukul. But the best part is you'll be happy to know everything is free of cost, no money to be charged from anybody. All students, those are interested, it is not a formal education, it is not a formal skilling. It's basically the global knowledge, the global wisdom, It's a confluence of the information, experiences, and storytelling from the world over. So presently our focus is tourism and entertainment, these two areas we have taken. Now, moving ahead further, when we talk about it, ladies and gentlemen, on eGurukul, children, those are within the age bracket of 14 to 28, they can just come on the ICSI web portal. They can register, they can get the free kind of a info, and you get a international certification coming from the chamber. Today is the World Diabetic Day, and today is also a Children Day. So diabetic we are taking tomorrow because this is a special session with Anu ma'am today. So we will be covering tomorrow at the same time diabetic foot and its prevention post-pandemic. How to take care of. Dr. Ravel Jindal will be with us. So ladies and gentlemen, post-pandemic world is having a new order. B2B is no more business to business. It's back to basics of life, basic food, basic health, basic education, earn and learn, all that has to be picked up. Napoleon Hill wrote one beautiful book in 1908, and we had picked up a quote from there, which is the mantra of our chamber. Whatsoever human mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. It's humanly possible. It all depends on how do you take on. So let's come together. Let's make education relevant. How can we make education relevant? It's through innovative education, futuristic education, skills, micro, small, and medium enterprise, tourism activities, entertainment, dance, music, wellness, happiness, relevant in our education ecosystem. So be a part of this particular journey. And this evening, join me in extending a very hearty welcome, and we extend a very warm welcome to Madam Anuji, who has joined us. It's indeed a great pleasure. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for joining us. Namaskaran, and thanks for joining, and thanks for sparing your most valuable time on Sunday morning on a holiday.
Yeah. Namaskar, Dr. Sharma, and namaskar to everyone all around the world. It is indeed a great honor to be here. I'm not sure I am worthy of this honor, but I shall try my best to live up to it as much as possible. I would like to thank Dr. Sharma for giving me this opportunity, Mr. Vijay Shastri for actually introducing me to Dr. Sharma, and to Chitra, who so beautifully set up all the logistics. Thank you again, all of you. Before I start, I just want to make sure that I am clear about something, that whatever opinions and views I express on this forum and today's forum is purely mine alone, and not in any way to do with the school board I work for, or for the government of Ontario, or the government of Canada. So let me introduce myself. I'm Anu Bhaskaruni, and I've been teaching in Canada for over 20 years in the elementary school system. I work for the public school system. In Canada, the word public school refers to the schools run by the government, as opposed to in India, where we have the public schools, are private schools. I am very passionate about my career, and I think that I'm indeed very blessed to be able to be a teacher. And this pandemic experience has given a whole new meaning and new shades to teaching whatsoever, completely. And as Dr. Sharma pointed out, yes, the pandemic has been brought in a lot of sorrow and pain all across the world, but it's also brought us a lot of positives, like being able to come up with innovative solutions on how to reach across oceans, reach across minds, and get together and be one, and as is influence thinking and influence education in many ways. So in teaching, now that I'm teaching a grade 6 classroom, so I have students who are between 10 and 11 years old, and hopefully next year many of my students will choose to get vaccinated. Now that is a very thorny issue with a lot of things, and a controversial issue, so I don't want to discuss that. But in teaching, before the pandemic started, school was like any regular school anywhere in the world. Recesses were there. We used to have class trips. We used to have collaborative thinking activities and collaborative activities. We used to have clubs. So school was not just a place of learning. School was also a very social environment. And when this was taken away in March 2020, we had the first lockdown, so to speak. So in Canada, in Ontario, the schools we were placed, we had to go on our March break, which is usually just a week long. It was extended to 2 more weeks. And so, of course, kids and teachers were all very happy getting extra holidays. But what we didn't realize was that came with a price. Those 2 weeks afterwards, because school, we could not go back to school, and we had to do virtual school. But this was a challenge. And I'm sure parents, you know what a challenge it was. I'm sure teachers across the world, you know what a challenge it was. Primarily, it was a challenge because even though in Canada or in Toronto, we are a comparatively well-to-do nation, we still have lots of students in our schools who do not have access to technology, to computers, and the internet. And so the mandate fell upon the government and the schools to farm out these devices. So we had to get devices and send it out to every child who needed a device. Now, giving out the device was not as difficult because we had their physical addresses and all that. The point was, many of them also did not have internet. So how would they access whatever we were trying to teach? So that was a big problem. But many of the internet companies, the government, and I think many people, many organizations stepped up to the plate. Because I'm so proud to say this. I'm sure all over the world, you also must have seen that, with a few exceptions, I'm sure. But many people and many organizations stepped up to the plate and stepped out of the comfort zone and gave access to technology and to resources which might not have been readily available to some sections of society. And that, to me, was a fabulous thing. So teaching took on a completely different role now. Here I was going to teach my class of 23 students of grade 6 using my computer. Fair enough. I consider myself, I wouldn't say I'm tech savvy, but I can manage it. But we also have, so when you have been using something called Google Meet and, Brightspace, it's an online learning platform. We started with that. Teachers were given about 1 day to go into schools and to collect whatever materials we needed for our teaching. The kids didn't even have that. So they had absolutely no books with them. So whatever was being provided to them online was what we were giving. But children are very resilient. Children are extremely resilient, and they adapt to any situation. And I am very proud to say that most of them adapted. However, there was a hidden cost to all of this. The academic learning is fine. I could teach the math, I could teach the language, the science, of course, without the labs and the experiments. But there was the hidden cost was the social interactions, which are so very important for children in our society, which maybe we did not give as much importance to, suddenly came up to light, and it took on a role of a level of priority was unprecedented before. Children need to interact with one another. Children need to interact with the adult in the classroom, ask questions, be answered, challenge the teacher, be challenged by themselves. The collaborative activities, the class trips, which we take them to the museums and to the different national parks or to the zoo, whatever we could manage, they were all gone. So we had to make do with whatever was available to us online. And once again, we had many internet sites and websites which allowed us a free tour of certain places, which we would not normally have. So these were different things. Now I've gone back to school. I'm in school. I'm teaching in school. I treasure every single day. Because I know what it was when I didn't have it. And to me, I miss the kids a lot. Because my role as a teacher, teaching them academics was great. But every single day to me is an amazing learning experience, because I learn so much from children every single day. And I cannot emphasize how blessed I am for that opportunity. I am right now teaching in school. We have we have social distancing. We try to keep our children a certain meters apart. We have hand sanitizing procedures. We do not have any clubs or class trips because that's not allowed. Children, when they play out in recess, they have to play only within their class, and they have in a particular zone of the field. They cannot go and play with another class, even though they might have friends there. So there are certain negatives to it. I will not deny. Still, we are waiting for the day when all this will be gone. And of course, we are masked. So we have to wear a mask and we have to wear a shield. Teachers have to do, because, sometimes you come into very close contact with a child. And many of these children, most of the children, of course, they're too young to be vaccinated as of yet, until something comes in the future. So these are the things that I think we did. And secondly, I also noticed that many of us teachers were not as tech savvy as we believed ourselves to be. So, moving onto a virtual online learning platform meant we have to be able to access many of the things that we could teach in class. I'll give you an example. Sounds silly. I was supposed to be teaching geometry and teaching them rotation of a figure on a coordinate grid. And in class, I would have my protractor. I would use it, or I would use Desmos, which is a particular website, interactive website, which teaches them that. And I still could do it over Desmos on virtual, but the feel of the protractor for the children is very important. It's very important. I know and I would think whoever came up with this, I'm sure I'm very ignorant about this. The protractor was an amazing tool for us. I tried my best to teach them using a white book, like a whiteboard, and drawing the grid and all that. It's amazing how children could learn, but yes, I could not reach all of them. So these are little things which I could have done in person. I could have done a better job at. And maybe had I been a little more trained, our government or the board did not have the time to train us. It did not, because I think it was like a bolt from the blue. 1 minute we were in school, the next day we were off. So this is my experience. Every day we still are undergoing this, because most of us teachers, we are mandated, we are vaccinated. Children are not vaccinated, but many of us have, parents at home or somebody who's immunocompromised at home. So yes, the fear is always there. As Dr. Sharma pointed out, yes, we teachers had to step up to the plate. We do. But then parents too stepped up to the plate. So if you have any questions about any
Wonderful.
more of...
Wonderful. Thank you, ma'am. Such a valuable inputs you have given. Now, we cannot get back to January, February of 2020. We have to move ahead. We have to step up.
Absolutely.
And technology is going to play a very important role. When I look at March 2020, a lot of parents, a lot of children, a lot of teachers, and teachers were asking their own children, please help me out. What is Zoom? How to switch on? How to show PPT and all that? It's okay, fine. It's a part of it. We learn. Every challenge has got new opportunities also. But by and large, if you see, if there is a classroom of 20 students, 30 students, and if I'm taking it because we are very positive, our chamber is very positive and we are thinking positive, and we are seeing something futuristic.
Absolutely.
Let me count on only blessings, not the curses.
Absolutely. Completely.
Now, blessings are, number one, earlier I could address only 30 kids. Now I can address 3 lakh kids. Number two, many children were shy earlier to ask a particular question from a teacher in the class, because teacher said something, thereafter teacher moved on, the student could not pick up a particular thing, and he or she didn't have the courage or the guts to ask teacher, ki ma'am or sir, could you please repeat it? Because the 45 minutes period, 45 minutes limited time, everything to be done, teachers are under tremendous pressure, all that being taken into. But now, the thing is, the same child, if they are serious, if they are career conscious, if they want to excel in life, they can listen to the same recorded session again and again.
That's right.
Another thing, in a very polite way, there was no accountability. There were many good teachers who were left over. because they could not come in front. Some people in the chronology did not allow them to showcase their talent, their expertise, their competence, their skills, their capabilities. But now it's a world is the class.
That's
If you
true.
have a talent, if you have expertise, and why it can't be supported in a way, and what are your views if the education, because I know nobody wants to change unless the pain of remaining same is more painful than the pain of the change.
Changes, right?
So how do you look at it when we are getting into digital mode?
Change is constant. Change is constant, and we have to. And I think if the quicker we adapt or the quicker we acknowledge that, I think the better off we are on a personal level too. Uh, on a digital scale, I completely agree with you. There were students who were very conscious of looking ignorant in order to ask teachers. So the risk-taking thing was, the fear was a little taken away when they could ask questions online, and definitely is there. And and as we have right now, we have Google Meet or Google Classrooms. Children post questions and ask me questions about any homework, about a concept, even at 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the night. And if I am free, I definitely do answer them. Yes. So their time, my time, whatever it is.
Your
Yes.
role is more like a mentor.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. No,
Yes.
but that's the point, Dr. Sharma.
Hmm.
As a teacher, I
Hmm.
invest not just my time, I invest a part of my soul into these children.
Hmm.
And I want each one of these kids to succeed.
Hmm.
And but everyone has a different path towards success.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it is my role, my duty to be able to recognize that and to allow that child that kind of leeway and that freedom.
Hmm.
And as far as what you're saying about uh, accountability, yes, I agree with you. Accountability was a big problem. Accountability, teachers, because some teachers were very dedicated and they gave it their 101% and they did it. And just like in any other profession, you have people who are not up to the mark as much as up to the mark as much. But in my personal experience, my colleagues who were not as tech savvy or they felt they were lacking the expertise, we literally reached out amongst each other, and we used to have our own little Zoom sessions and Google Meet sessions so that we could teach each other. And our board also started running webinars and seminars so that we could pick up on these after school hours, so we could pick up on some little tips which could help making our teaching experience a little more positive and a little easier on us, less stressful, so to speak. Showcasing, I agree with you. With the internet, with the digital explosion in this world, everybody can get their 15 minutes of fame, right? Everybody can. But some of us, for example, in this forum, the purpose of this forum was not fame. The purpose of this forum was to reach out and to join millions of people around the world, not just the Indian diaspora, but others too, in this commonality that we have of educating the child, of educating ourselves and children, because they are the future. Because right now in my classroom, we're discussing climate change and COP26 and the effects it is having on the world. And I look at them and I feel that this is the future these children are going to inherit. And so they should know about this. And so the digital thing has given me also some tools with which I am able to get information very easily. And as you said, put forth the information more easily. I would have not had this opportunity to speak to people around the world had it not been for you to ask me, and for that, I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Such a wonderful input. Now, if I see in an Indian perspective, there are a couple of challenges. One is quantity.
Yeah.
Second is huge quantity.
Yeah, I understand.
Second, need of quality. Yeah. Thirdly, to keep pace with the world's speed. And number four, making technology available to the last mile, to the last person in the far-flung area. How do you look at that? And if you've got anything, any perspective of yours which you would like to give, we would be more than happy, ma'am.
Yeah. When you talk of technology to the far-flung areas, Canada too has its own, because we have a very small population, definitely, as compared to India. Definitely, we are barely 33, 35 million people as compared to a billion people. The thing is, but many of our children also, who don't live in the urban communities, they live in rural, far-flung areas. So they might have they might be
Challenges.
given definitely have their challenges. And the thing is also the needs of the child. A child who lives in India might need something different from what a child who lives in Canada is. Just because for that, but forget the academic part of it, the needs, basic needs, because of cultural reasons, social reasons, geographical reasons, and whatever it is. So yes, but one thing I've noticed, because I have had lots of Indian students, I've taught in India for a very short while, but I've taught many Indian students all over the world, and they are as intelligent as anyone else in the world, be it a child from a rural community, be it a child from a very socio-economic, high socio-economic status in, say, in the metropolitan cities of Bombay and Delhi and places like that. So the thing is, our country, India has a lot of challenges, yes, but this is called, as you said, a lot of positives. It's not just for India when I'm talking about this. When the teaching profession is held in esteem and teachers are given the respect that they need to be given, then I think we would have achieved some part of it. Teaching should not be a profession that people go into because they get 2 months off over the summer. Teaching is a vocation, not a profession. It has to come from the heart. You have to want to teach. And the mother is the first teacher for any child. The mother is the first teacher for any child. I'm sure I'm ignorant of it, but I'm sure many of our organizations, business organizations in India, are hopefully stepping up to the plate. Yeah. Dr. Sharma, you're giving up so much of you're using so much of it. I won't say giving up, because even I will say I've not given up my time on Sunday, because I have learned so much right now. So we are using this time. We are using this time in a very positive manner to spread this. So if we have more people like you, and with your thing, if we are influenced to spread this word, I'm sure that any child in India would also be able to have access to this.
God bless you. Thank you. Wonderful input, ma'am. I would like to pick up a thread from you. During this pandemic, we also organized lots of programs with UNESCO.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great learning what UNESCO is doing, what UNICEF is doing, what ILO is doing, what OECD doing, and everybody.
That's
I would say it was a great learning for all of us. We brought so many people on the platform. Now, what comes to my mind over here is, I wish to learn from you as a teacher, as an educator, as an educationist. If we have to organize teachers' empowerment, teachers' training, teachers' hand-holding, teachers' equipping for post-pandemic period, what do you feel from heart? What all we should cover in that? If, let's take it, our chamber is organizing a teacher's training, right? We want to just organize a teacher's training. The challenges which you face during this pandemic, and you would like to be equipped, because we strongly believe it should not be teachers only professional development, it should be personal development also. Both the things have to be taken into consideration. So can you be kind enough, can you suggest me some modules? Can you suggest me some idea? Just let it come, any idea. What do you think about it? What all we should package, we should include in case, or if we are organizing a training program or facilitating program, empowering program, hand-holding program, whatsoever you say for teachers, what modules we should include?
Okay. Dr. Sharma, this is the world is now a small village because of the internet, right? And we have to, our children no longer, yes, we do want them to raise them to be a good citizen of India, good citizen of Canada, good citizen of the United States, whatever it is. But we have to endow our children with global competencies. And these are, as you pointed out, analytical things, critical thinking skills, logical thinking skills, reasoning. And these are the things, if we teachers are given a forum where we are, I want a training, allowed to learn from somebody who is an expert in the field, to bring it to us and to discuss a scenario within our elementary classroom or within a high school or within even a university classroom, and how we can engage students. If we can engage students, we have won half the battle. If the child is bored, he or she is not going to buy in to anything that you might say. It could be a Nobel Prize winning idea, but he or she will not buy in unless the child is engaged.
Excellent.
So, yeah,
excellent.
So I want, if I was a new teacher into this, I would like to speak to people with experience from different levels of teaching on how they work on engaging students. Number one. Two, yes, the technical expertise part of it is understood, that we'll be trained in that. Three, I would like to have interaction with people, with experts on how they brought about critical thinking skills and analytical thinking skills. Life skills are very important. I can teach them math to, I love teaching math, and I teach them fractions and I teach them this, but what is the point of it? I was teaching LCM the other day, and the student asked me, says, why are we learning this anyway, Miss Bhaskaruni? And I said, and I thought to myself, exactly right. Why should I want to know this unless it has an application to it, right? So I explained to him that if you and your sister have dance and swimming on different days, and how you could find out the common days you have dances, so your parents can organize their driving around that. And so he said, oh, okay, that makes sense. And so that is the key. Let us teach our children skills which will help them apply those skills in their future lives, for analytical thinking, critical thinking, logical thinking, reasoning thinking, whatever it is. So please, if as a forum we can provide my younger colleagues, myself, my other colleague, an opportunity to learn from different people, mentors, different people with expertise. You don't have to be a teacher to know, to discuss critical thinking skills. You could be a parent and be doing an amazing job teaching your child to be an independent problem solver. And that's what we need. We have problems. The world will always have problems, Dr. Sharma. What we need is solution seekers. We need solutions. Those solutions may not always be working, but we should have the courage to take the risk, to implement the solutions, and then correct what is needed. Hindsight is always 2020. It's always very easy to point a finger and blame the government, blame the board, blame the union, blame your teacher, blame somebody else. But the buck starts here and the buck stops here. That's what I need. I would like, as a teacher, I would like that experience to be able to hear someone discuss these things. And TED Talks has some amazing opportunities to listen to people who have brought forth change in the education system. And change is constant. And for some, if you want to be a good teacher, you have to be a good learner. You can't learn. If you're not interested in learning, you have no business in teaching.
Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful input. The takeaway which I have taken is give global skills to children. First of all, that is something which you're given so that globally they are acceptable. Discussion on scenario, how to engage students.
Yeah.
That is something which you have given to us. No boring elements. interaction with the experts on critical thinking, life skills, logical thinking, analytical
That's
thinking, and
right.
all that.
Yes,
Teach only which is relevant to my day-to-day living, my life, and I'm going to apply that.
that's right.
I learned calculus in somewhere 10th standard, and till date I have not applied. I do not know.
Tell me about it. So did I.
Right. How children can be independent thinker. That is also a very nice point which you have given. And solution seekers. That is also very interesting. Now, lot of examples are available world over that mathematics can be taught the best way with music.
That's right.
Do you feel that music, humor, fun, games, creativity, collaboration, and happiness and stimulation, all that should be the integral part as a teacher? If there is a
Absolutely.
if there is a training program being conducted for you,
Yeah.
what would you like to be included? Because I'm looking forward to modules today with you, because you are in education, you are in school education. First of all,
Yeah.
our chamber strongly recommends to the governments across the world, including UNESCO, that teachers, those are handling children up to the 10 years of age, should be highest paid in the world, even more than professors. Because you formulate, you are
Yeah.
playing with somebody's life, emotion, career, thought process, and what that child will become tomorrow. It's in the formative years which we have to take into considerations.
That's right. The
This
impact
we
is
are
huge.
this we are vouching everywhere across the globe. Wherever we get an opportunity, we always say, please, we do not want everybody to go to college. We do not want everybody to be scholarly, doing PhD, masters, and all that. It's not something logical. The whole world has not to take a formal education. Education is, how do I behave? How do I talk? How can I be meaningful to society? How I can repay back to society?
Yeah.
And you talked about the climate change and COP26 and all that you were talking about. Now, ma'am, I'm again looking forward to, from a point of view as a teacher, because at this point of time, our chamber is working very hard. Across the globe, we are trying to get the valuable inputs from all those are actually practicing. I've seen
Yeah.
my daughter sometime as a teacher. She's doing
Mhm.
administrative work also. She's bringing notebooks at home also. She's
Yeah.
setting question papers also. She's going on Zoom also. She's doing a couple of other things also. Now,
Yeah.
family got to be supportive. Everybody got to be supportive. I think teachers are burnt out that way. But if technology can take on somewhere, now, what else would you like to be included in teachers' training if our chamber globally recommends? Because the World Economic Forum is saying, whatever we are teaching today, it will not hold relevant by the time the children will pass out from schools and colleges. These skills will become obsolete and obsolescent, because 5 years back, what was needed is not holding relevance today.
That's right.
So, thereby, ma'am, what do you feel should be included? I have taken all the points which you have given. As a good student, I have taken. Give me some more inputs. I'm very keen. What would you like to be included in the syllabi, in the curriculum, in the contents? I'm a hungry child. I'm more interested to learn from you, because finally, let there be a emerging of one particular program globally, which UNESCO should recommend. And across the globe,
Yeah.
every teacher should be given hand holding, equipped, should be supported, should be encouraged. And how do we bring more, maybe the financial incentives and other things also, which has to be given? Well, give me some more modules, ma'am, before we close
Uh,
the session. Yeah.
uh, as you mentioned that you said math and music go together, and it's very right. They say that math and music come from the same part of the brain. Unfortunately for me, I appreciate music, but I am not, how would you say, musically talented or creative in any sense. I do enjoy teaching math. That's my favorite subject to teach. But I believe and I do use a lot of humor in my classroom.
Okay.
I use a lot of humor in my classroom. We also use a lot of collaborative activities where we give a problem and we have children solve it in groups, and then they present their solutions, and the other groups listen to it very politely and then ask questions, whether it's right or wrong, we don't care, but the point is we ask them questions which challenge their solutions maybe. So, but of course, all to be done in a very respectful manner. Children look forward to that. Children look forward to be able to communicate because they learn from each other as much as they learn from us. So that is definitely there. Music, yes, why not? Music, absolutely. Music. I know. I remember many of my students in kindergarten. We do January, February. We sing it as a song, and it sticks to in our head, right? So your music, humor is definitely the hands-on activities to be able to actually feel touch, because many children, and even for us, we're kinesthetic learners too. We like to touch, feel, move, not just sit at our desks and listen to the teacher and take a paper and pencil and write. No, to be able to move, to be able to collaborate, to be able to feel something, to be able to turn something around or build something, those kind of opportunities, that opportunity. Now, in Canada, we use a lot of manipulatives, as they call math manipulatives. We use linking blocks, we use pattern blocks, we use many things. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what the situation in India is, because I haven't had much exposure to Indian system recently. Because from when I grew up in India, and I studied in India and did my master's in India, at that time, we didn't have any manipulatives, so to speak. The only manipulative I had maybe was my geometry box with my protractor and my ruler, but I did not have the other things which I could. And I think that having a manipulative definitely helps a person to be able to have a 3D view of the problem. And that is important, not just reading and understanding the problem, but the depth to which of what it's asking us, the width of it, and the different shades of the problem. So that to me is problem solving skills is a very, very important part of education. And I wish that to be included in the module.
Wow.
And that doesn't necessarily only mean math word problems. It could be a science thing. It could be language. It could be anything. It could spread across the curriculum. There are, like in Canada, we have, and we were talking about it, that some sections of society are not doing so well in academics as others. But it doesn't mean that they are not intelligent. They are intelligent, but they have different intelligences. Unfortunately, I do not have that intelligence to be able to convey it to them. Okay. And it's not possible for me to learn all those things. But I wish we had in our schools, we had teachers who had that exposure to maybe to art, to specialist teachers like music teachers and art teachers and science and math. Because then it's also not like if I was teaching math, the passion which I have for mathematics, I could convey it to my students. So if teachers, we were allowed to teach what we are good at and passionate at, that would definitely take the stress away from it, because we would enjoy our job a lot more.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. What a valuable inputs. Before we close the session, ma'am, and we come to the final part of it, finale, while conveying my deep gratitudes and thanks to you,
My
as well
pleasure.
as to Vijay Shastri Kotamarti ji, who had been very kind to bring you. Ma'am, give a practical part of it, how to bring humor in classroom.
Humor in classroom.
Because you made a mention of that, how to bring humor in classroom.
For example, I was like telling my kids about the multiplication of 11 times table, the 11, the Vedic math way. So 11 times 11 is 132, and then 11 times 12. And I said, notice what you see there, or numbers from 0 to 99, how you could multiply. And I was showing them the little parts of Vedic math which I could come across and showing to them, and they're in awe of me. Okay, and the poor 10-year-olds don't realize that this is not my thing. It's just coming from me. So, and then I stand under some light and I say, what do you think, children? And they say, you're brilliant, Miss Bhaskaruni. Yeah. So they know I'm joking about it, and I know they're joking about it, but we have a good laugh. And then suppose somebody makes a mistake and say 7 times 4 is 28, is 23 or something. And then, we'll say, I said, let me just call up my home planet. I am from Jupiter. Yeah. And so in Jupiter, it says, no, it's not true. So silly things. I am not looking for a big bang comedy session. Small, silly things which make a child laugh. Because making a mistake is a very integral part of the learning process. Unless you make a mistake, when you make a mistake, you learn 2 things. You learn that this is something is wrong, so this is a mistake, and you learn the right thing too. So it's important to learn mistakes. Important to fail at certain things. So that's my goal with the kids. Enjoy the fact that you make mistakes, and remember that I appreciate those mistakes.
Wow.
And that's what is.
Very well said. Very well said. Very well said. God bless you, ma'am. Thank you very much for coming on Sunday morning, giving us time. We are so grateful to you. We are so thankful. Our deepest gratitudes and regards to you. Stay fit, stay fine. Take care of your health. Take care of your children, everybody over there. And special thanks to Vijayji, and very, very deep gratitudes and thanks to you and your family.